And we're back with another episode of the Interview with Fat Funny. Today we got
Prolific. What's up, y'all?
So we just gonna chop it up with him. So when your manager first hit me up, she just sent me a name. So I'm like, oh, I'm like, all right, Prolific. Or he seemed like some deep shit. It's gonna be a strong black man in the dashiki. And then when I went to the Instagram page, I said it's Bieber from Bompton.
The complete opposite.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so just tell me who Prolific 860 is.
Prolific 860. Well, I'm an artist from Bristol, Connecticut. I was born in New Britain, Connecticut, raised in Bristol, Connecticut. I first off started as a dancer at my parents' dance studio. I was into dance for a little bit, but I kind of stopped doing that. I just kind of fell out of love with it. And then I was into filming and a whole bunch of other stuff, but I never really loved anything else as much as I did when I decided to make music about 4 years ago. And 4 years ago when I decided to make music, I found it as a coping mechanism. Like you said, you know, the whole name Prolific is going to be some deep shit. It was some deep shit. I started after going homeless in a house fire, and I just found writing as a coping mechanism. And whether it was for me to write some deep shit or for me to have some shit that people could just turn up to, I just found it as a vice. So I just kept doing it for a while. And I'm 19 years old, just graduated. I'm also an audio engineer. I just got my certificate for audio engineering. Okay. So yeah, I'm pretty big into music and yeah, young love.
All right, so you say when you started doing music, you fell in love with it. Yeah. So that's when you decided to take this thing to the next level. Like, this is gonna be a passion. This is what I'm gonna do. Yeah. All right. So when I listen to your music, if I listen to music and didn't see the face, I would think you're like not white. Yeah. So do you get any pushback from like being, oh God, another Eminem or something like that, or it's just like you get love?
I've seen comments like that, but the funny thing is, I'm not even full white. I'm mixed. I'm triracial. I'm everything.
Explain.
Like white, black, Hispanic. I'm like confused. You know what I mean? Okay. But I don't like go around claiming too much because I haven't gone through the struggles of some demographics, and I just kind of, I'm white. You know what I'm saying? You look at me, I'm a white boy. You can see the Hispanic maybe in the facial hair, no black features. You know what I'm saying? Nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, like, when I get comments like that, I'm like, yeah, whatever. They're just closed minded, for the most part. But I mean, like, I don't know. I think there's a perceived notion with the so-called like white rappers. Most of them, in my opinion, this is just from what I've seen, they're like the lyrical, spiritual, miracle individual, and I think it's kind of corny. At least now, like back then it was cool, but like now it's like overdone. I try to just kind of stray away from that. I feel like it kind of has a genre to it, kind of like SoundCloud rap has a genre to it. Like SoundCloud rapper isn't used as a term for people that make music and release it on SoundCloud. It's like kind of came up when artists like Lil Pump was coming up, and they think it's like that mumble rap, which I hate that term as well. I think it's just a term for people that don't like hip hop to say that we're unintelligent. But
it's more like older people saying this.
Yeah, exactly. It's really, the old heads like, oh, mumble crap. Like, I don't know. That's corny to me.
All right. So how do you handle haters? How do you handle like the people talking about, oh, this kid can't rap. This kid, he hasn't lived through that. Blah 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 blah.
I kind of ignore it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like hip hop, especially, has advanced to a level where you don't have to exactly fit the norms anymore.
Hip hop is a culture. It's not like when it started. Hip hop is the number one
genre in the world.
Yeah, you could be any part of the world right now in this hip hop.
Exactly.
So anybody can really do it.
Anybody can do it. And I think that's where I kind of just found my comfort spot, because I was just like, yo, at the end of the day, I know the music I make is good. If people don't think it's good, I know I'm confident in it. I put my heart into it, and that's all I care about.
First. Yeah, exactly. If you don't like it, I love it, so I don't care what you're talking
exactly.
About. All right, so what's the hardest part about being a rapper?
The hardest part about being a rapper isn't even being a rapper. It's just like the stuff that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Like now it's not like, okay, you could just be a rapper. You got to be the social media entertainer. You got to be a content creator. You got to be your own marketer. All this different stuff. Luckily, I enjoy doing all that. But I think, I don't know, I can't really pinpoint something that's difficult for me. Other than maybe like trying to find stuff that's like very difficult in my life to rap about, especially because I'm still young. I'm saying I haven't gone through all the trials and tribulations, so it's like trying to find the issue and like trying to like, even when I'm like perfectly fine and I'm like
stick to the name Prolific.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, now I gotta make some deep shit, but I'm like feeling like I'm trying to make some turn up shit. But it's like, I think it's mainly just kind of, I'm very diverse, you know what I mean? And like trying to stick to a genre is very difficult for me. And I think it's kind of boring to stick to just one genre. I like to hip hop is my main genre. I'm not here to like talk like some other type of artist. I'm hip hop. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. But I think the dopest thing about hip hop is the fact that you can merge so many different genres with it. Sounds, exactly. That's why I think it is the world's biggest genre right now, because it's like you can merge rock with it, you can merge country with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't done country yet, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you can merge anything with it, and it can be done correctly if you just care about it enough.
Okay. So what makes you different from any other rapper right now? Because, you know, every other day we got millions of rappers
constantly.
So what makes me listen to you?
I mean, truthfully, there's a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the world hasn't seen a white rapper before, or a mixed rapper before, or a young rapper before that's lyrical. But one thing about me is that I'm very consistent. And I like to be lyrical, but I'm very diverse. Like I said earlier, I think I don't make music for just one type of person. Anybody can listen to my stuff.
You're very creative too. Like, when I do research for these things, I like to go to people's pages. Like, you can tell he's in the process. He's doing the videos. It's fun. It's just not like he made a song and put it out there and throw it.
Yeah, exactly. Like that. And it's like, I think my biggest thing that I've done so far is this album I'm working on. I got an album dropping this summer, and it's easily like, y'all can listen to any of my other stuff and be like, wow, you listen to this album, it's like insane. I feel like, I truthfully feel like full-heartedly that it blows everything I've ever made out of the water.
We're gonna get to that though. That's later on.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so I know you said you hip hop, but how would you describe your music besides it being hip hop? Because like we just said, hip hop is 1,000 different.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's definitely some rock influence in it, especially with my newest song, Wild West. I like to form indie in a lot of it with the stuff I'm working on now. R&B, gospel, like everything. You know what I'm saying? I like to just, like I said, I'm diverse. You know what I'm saying? It's just trying a bunch of different things and merging it together to make something big.
All right, so how many projects you put out so far?
I've put out 3 EPs and a load of singles.
That's a lot of music, especially you said 4 years.
4 years, yeah. I dropped my first EP in 2020. Then I dropped my second EP a few months after that.
Okay.
And then my third EP, Lost Notes 2, a project that I did on mental health, in October last year.
Mental health is very important. So
yeah, that's probably my biggest thing as an artist. I think that's something that could also differentiate me from others, because I push mental health like it's my savior. You know what I'm saying? I push it so much.
All right, so out of all, 3 or 4 of them projects, what was your favorite one?
Ooh, definitely my most. That's kind of tough. Okay, most artists don't do this. They're told not to do this because they don't want people to, like, you know, perceive what they don't want people to make the artist's opinions their opinions. But I'm gonna tell y'all my opinion.
But see, stuff like that, because music is subjective. So
yeah, exactly.
You might love it and I might hate it.
Yeah, so exactly. I'm gonna rank them. My EPs. I'm gonna rank my EPs. My favorite EP that I've done is my first one, Silver. That's a song on that EP. Sweet Melancholia. Number 2, Lost Notes 2, the one that just came out, and number 3, the first Lost Notes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Now, do you see the growth in between each tape, or is it just like? Because I know even when I'm doing interviews, I watch one like I did like a year ago. I was like, oh my fucking god! Like,
yeah, 100%. Especially in the quality now, it's crazy. But like you said, we'll get into that later. But that's not even to say that I think my first EP is better than my most recent EP. I think lyrically, I think the way that I connected with the listener and the way I opened up on the last project is unlike anything I've done recently that's released. But my first EP, it just holds a very special place in my heart. It's like it has that nostalgic feeling to it. It's like, okay, this is what I started with, and it's like being able to look back and be like, wow, I did this when I was 16. Like that's kind of like crazy to me, being able to listen to certain songs and being like, wow, like look where we've brought it so far.
Okay. So what's the creative process like for you? Because for 4 EPs, you always in the studio. So like, what's your thought process, your creative process like?
I don't really think too much. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's very easy to overthink. And I've done that a lot. But recently it's just been like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Just do it. I get in the studio and if an idea comes to my head, I do it. If it doesn't work, scrap it, whatever. Or if I have a song that I don't really think is up to my standards, I'm gonna release it on SoundCloud. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe in holding too much music hostage. I feel like if you made it, it's gotta be heard.
I don't get why people do like, bro.
Yeah. You're not Playboy Cardi.
Yeah, that's what, like, bro,
you know what I'm saying?
Bro, like,
drop it.
This could be the song to get you there. Don't know
exactly.
Like,
just release it. It's not gonna do anything sitting on your hard drive.
Right.
But I'm very, like I said, I don't overthink, but I'm very picky. At the same time, if I don't like the way something is sounding that I'm not in control of, I'm going to be very vocal about it. For example, I don't produce a lot of my own music. I have my guys. I don't go to YouTube too much. I have my guy Mason, my guy Drex, and my guy Quentin, Sketchy Wave. They come to the crib and we produce, and we'll sit hours on hours, weeks sometimes on one song, because we'll have like a beat switch or something, or a certain part in the bridge or the hook or the verse, and I'm like working on the production, and I'm like, okay, I know we spent like 3 hours on this part, but I don't like it anymore. Like, this has to go. If it's not 100% in my vision and I don't really feel it in my heart, I'm just going to say scrap it. That's
how you know you love something. Yeah. There's no way I'm working 3 hours on something.
Yeah, exactly. Mind. For me to just be okay with it. You know what I mean?
So in the studio, do you freestyle or write?
I write. For most of my stuff. I like to freestyle. When I'm writing some really deep stuff, I like to sit down and write, because I like to, go crazy with the rhyme schemes and all the syllables and all that stuff, all the verses, all the punchlines. But sometimes I find it easiest when I just get in the booth and put on my presets so I hear myself like it's being recorded professionally, and then I just kind of go off and just kind of, sometimes I'll just mumble into the mic like, kind of just get in a melody, and then I'll just build off of that melody, write to that melody. I do a whole bunch of different things, but writing is always my go-to. Okay.
So what's the day in the life of a young rapper trying to build an empire? Like, what's your everyday go-to?
It's a whole lot of like, it's a whole lot of, oh, how's that little music thing going? Or like, okay, when are you going to college? Or like this or that. I'm going to college soon, y'all. Don't worry. But like, I just got my trade, y'all. Chill. Right, I'm good. Like, just trust me. You know what I'm saying? Just believe the vision. But I mean, I think the biggest thing being young is it's like having a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? I think of it as a superpower. I got the time to kind of spend all day on it. You know what I'm saying? I go to work. I work in the mornings, come back at 3. I got all day to work on my music. And all the weekends. I work at an elementary school. I work with special needs kids.
So you have patience too.
I have a lot of patience. That takes a lot of patience. Yeah.
Kudos to you.
But
I wouldn't be able to do that.
So, it took some time for sure. Yeah. But definitely just it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. I think the negative part of it is more like kind of being looked down upon just off of like the public eye, and just being like, oh, he's young, whatever, he's still learning this, that. It's the idea that whatever the Gen Z doesn't know what they're talking about. But I mean, like, nobody really knows anything. Obviously, like I said, I haven't lived my whole life through trials and tribulations. I don't know everything, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I do. Right. Because nobody does. You know what I'm saying? All of us are clueless. We just happen to learn through experience and just kind of figure out our own stuff in our own situations.
How old you can learn something from somebody.
Yeah, 100%.
You're 19. If you're doing something, it's like, how you do that? Like,
it's always something. It's always something you can learn.
So, what are some of your musical influences?
Ooh, I got so many, man. I could go on this for a while. People might not like this, but I'm gonna say Kanye. Kanye is my favorite, number one, always.
Well, we say musically, so you gotta give it.
Yeah, you have to. Like, I feel like it'd be wrong to be a hip hop artist and say Kanye hasn't influenced you in some way, whether you like him or not. His influence is everywhere. Kendrick for sure, J. Cole, Mac Miller, rest in peace. Earl Sweatshirt, I got a lot of my lyricism from him. Tyler with his production and creativity. And even though you can't really hear this artist in a lot of my music, in terms of influence, Playboi Carti is a big influence of mine. Because he's just kind of taught me to be like, yo, fuck it, have fun. You know what I'm saying? You listen to his music, you're not sitting there and be like, okay, these syllables aren't connecting, or like, the rhyme schemes are weak. Yeah, like, no, you're there to vibe out, turn up. You know what I'm saying? So kind of
get high and just listen to music.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of allow me to just let loose.
All right, so mainstream, who would you want to feature from?
Ooh. A lot of people aren't going to expect this because they think I'm too young. I'm going to say Andre 3K.
No, he go crazy though.
He goes stupid.
He go crazy.
Like he goes stupid. Like crazy. His verses are crazy. I'd say Andre, Earl, or Kendrick. I like the lyrical rappers, but I've also liked, if I have to work like a trap artist, I'd say like Cardi, Young Thug.
That.
Yeah. Right. Who knows if that's ever gonna happen? You know what I'm saying?
I got something in the cup, bro.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe they gotta open.
Right. So, what's your thoughts on the Connecticut music scene?
I think it's really cool. Obviously, there's a lot of like opinions that are going around about it, especially right now. With the whole like bunch of lists going around of like who's the artist in Connecticut.
You seen that on? You talk about it on Facebook. I don't know if you seen it. I was like, that's weak to me, by the way. But like,
that's my boy Jaden. Shout out Jaden. But it's like, I feel like I think he was definitely saying something there because a lot of I feel like we kind of play the numbers game here. And since to other people here that we haven't had the big artists or no one's had that big pop off, everyone wants to be the first to do it, and they don't want to help each other. They want to be the first to do it rather than build a community. Although there is a community. Do you think that's holding
us back though? Because like that's why everybody from New York and everybody get put on because they work together.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's a lot that's holding us back, but I mean I can't really pinpoint exactly what it is. I can only say that because there obviously is something if nothing's happening. If we got people like Talib Kweli saying fuck Connecticut, there's got to be something he sees that we're not seeing. You know what I'm saying?
No, not really, because what is he like? Okay, but go ahead. Like,
but it's like, in my opinion, I think it's very ignorant for everybody to just say fuck Connecticut.
Yeah, like you don't know what's going on.
You don't know what's going on. If you're not in the scene and you're not seeing what's happening firsthand, you can't shit on something. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a hater. It's fucking weird.
What Connecticut had to do with you? That's how I feel. Like
exactly. I ain't like, we didn't do shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
In the studio right now?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. It's a lot of hate that just goes around. I can't really say too much about it because I'm not really educated on that. I don't like go around trying to figure out what's going on with the CT scene. I kind of just worry about myself. But I do like to lift up a lot of other people. There's a lot of CT artists I work with. And I'm trying to
like you collaborate with a lot.
Everybody. You can see I'm doing a festival in July. I got like 12 opening artists and they're all from Connecticut.
That's my notes.
Bet.
All right, so who would you want to feature with locally?
Locally, Jaden Castro. He's over in Denmark, but he's from Connecticut. I'm going to say Jaden Castro. I'm going to say Dre Got the Blues. He's fire. Nick Rose. Me and him have been back and forth on trying to do something for a while. But
I actually like him. That's another white boy that I like.
That's the homie. Yeah. I've worked with him a lot. We've done a few shows together.
I like his energy.
That's the homie. But I've just been working on the album. I haven't been able to send him too many opens. We haven't been able to lock in, but that's definitely going to happen at some point. But other than that, I kind of like the people I'm working with now, but I'm always open to working with artists.
Okay. All right. So I had watched the interview you did, and they had asked you how many shows or showcases you did. And your answer was, I really don't do showcases.
Yeah.
I create my own shows.
Yeah.
And that kind of blew my mind because, like, I'm building my own platform. I really don't need nobody else. And, like, I'm building this thing. It's going to grow.
Yeah.
And I put on my show, and people are going to come out.
Yeah.
So just tell the people why is that important and why you decided to do that.
I think it's really important because anybody could get booked at shows if you have the right representation or just the following. You know what I'm saying? You could get booked for something, or you could look around and just find something that's going on, and it's easy to get booked. But for a while, I was like, okay, I don't really see the point in me doing these pay-to-play schemes to open up for these big artists. I think it's stupid.
And I get mad pushback from like, no, you're wasting your money.
It's a scam.
Them people you giving the money to, they don't give a fuck about what you got going on.
Yeah, exactly.
They want the money. That's why you give them $300 and they give you 20 tickets.
Yeah, like, I was seeing it from like from a concert going standpoint. I spend like half my paychecks on concert tickets. I love going to concerts, but if there's an opener on stage that I don't know, I mean, I like to watch. I like to watch everybody, but I look around, everyone's on their phone like, who the fuck is this guy?
And
you know what I'm saying?
You sell the tickets to your family. So it's like,
exactly. It's like that crowd in the back that's like, Justin. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they don't like music, they like you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like I found it a really big advantage for me to just kind of host my own shows.
Even from a business standpoint.
Yeah, exactly. I'm making all the money.
Right.
I have the openers come up, we split the cash. You know what I'm saying? They sell tickets. We're all winning. They're getting a show to perform at. I'm hosting a show. I'm making money. They're making money. We're doing great music. The crowd is getting great music. It's a good vibe all around.
So let's talk about To the Moon Festival. How did you come up with the idea? Is this the first or second year?
First festival, I've done shows every summer, but this is the first time I decided to be like, yo, fuck it. Let's just get like a bunch of openers. And let's, well, not even openers, performers, and do a festival.
So how did you put that together? Because like that's big.
Yeah.
Can't downplay that at all.
Yeah, I was just like, shit. I noticed I was doing a lot of shows. I was doing a show every July, at least. I would do shows in the winter and all that too. But every July I did a show for the past, since 2020. Every July. And I noticed that it kept growing and growing and growing. And after my last show, which is probably the best show I've done shows at arenas. But this show, the one that I did, it was just so, it had so much community. I felt the love from the crowd. It was so intimate. And I've never seen anything like that. I've never felt anything like that being on a stage before. And I remember going back, leaving the show, whatever, at the after party, and I'm like, yo, I want to do this again tomorrow. I want to do this bigger. Like, how am I going to do this bigger? I don't even give a fuck about the crowd size. If people are there, it's cool. If people aren't there, it's cool. I'm there for the music. I'm there to connect with a bunch of other artists and make something, build a community that people say Connecticut is lacking. So I was just chilling. I think it was like a few months ago. I was talking to my boys, and I was like, yo, one day, because we always say to the moon. That's like our little thing. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna make a festival called To the Moon one day. And I didn't think it was gonna be this year, but I was like, fuck it. So I decided to, get the openers for the first day. It was gonna be a 1-day show again. I was like, okay, let's have these guys open up again. Cool, whatever. And then I was like, yo, like, if I keep like trying to hold back on this, I'm never gonna do it. Or why do it later when I could do it now and build it up?
Even exactly. State, like that's big. Don't downplay it at all.
Yeah.
That's music 2 days. You got it. You got a festival.
Yeah. So I was like, fuck it. I just went around. I looked for a bunch of artists or artists that I knew. I went around this area. I'm in Bristol. I went to New Haven like once a week, twice a week even. I'm still here looking for artists. And anywhere, anytime that I see an artist that I'm liking that's in Connecticut, because I'm trying to support Connecticut, I see like, okay, how can they perform if they look like their performances are good? Because I care about that. I don't want to have anybody putting on a half-ass show for anybody. I don't want anybody to pay even $10 to see a weak show from anybody, even me. I put my all into that. I don't rap over no type of backing tracks. I'll rap over the instrumental and no vocals, or even no backing track. I have a live band now. You know what I'm saying? I really like to go into it. And I put my all into my live shows. The show was until July. I started rehearsals like a few months ago. We rehearse at least once or twice a week, for hours. We go ham with all that. But I was just like, yo, let me find all these artists. I found them. I sent them the messages. I was like, yo, doing this festival. If you want to perform, hit me back. Hit me back. Cool. You're on the list. I made all the graphics. I made all the promos. I made all the flyers for all the individual people. Everything about that is independent. I did everything with that. And I was like, fuck it. Let's just do it. Do it. And yeah, now we're doing it. I'm pretty excited. July 21st and 22nd. I'm excited. Right. Meriden, Connecticut, United Rhythms Dance Studio, 30 Powers Drive. Tickets are available on my Instagram at prolific860 or at To The Moon Fest. 1-day tickets are $15 and 2-day tickets are $25. Come support your local artists and see some dope music. Live music from hip hop artists, R&B, indie, punk rock, whole bunch of genres. I'll put everyone together.
Okay. All right, so what's the future like? What you want to talk about your projects? We can talk about your project now.
I hope it's good. You know what I'm saying? I hope it's bright, man. I hope something's gonna happen. Yeah, man, this album. That's something that I really want to talk about. Before I get into the long future. The long one is obvious. Obviously, everyone wants to succeed. That's my long future. I could get into that, but whatever. It's obvious. That's just a short answer. The album, though, I could talk about this forever. I've been working on this album for about 2 years now. Before I knew it was an album, it was just another EP. But I was sitting here in the studio, just kind of listening through the EP before I sent it off to the distributor to be released. And I was like, yo, like, this isn't 10 times better than what I've done before. And that didn't sit right with me. I was like, I know that I could advance in something so crazy. So I was like, I called my producers, my boys, my artists that I sing with or that sing for me, all that stuff. I'm singing a little bit on the album, a little bit. And I was like, yo, real shit, we're going to reproduce and redo this whole thing. And they were like, what? I was like, the whole thing. So we're like, okay, cool.
Drive though, because it's like the whole thing.
The whole thing. It was good. It was really good. The only thing is I felt like it could have just had more. Because I mean, at that point, I was still working on YouTube beats. And I was like, fuck that shit. Because I was like, I'm not going to be rapping on other people's beats or rapping on beats that other people could rap on.
Right.
I like that, putting my whole heart into something that somebody else could rap about, like do some drill shit on. You know what I'm saying? Like, that felt weird to me. Like, I'm rapping about my dead grandma, and then someone's doing some drill shit, like, pull up on your block and now you're dead. Shoot him in the head, put him in split. Like, you know what I'm saying? That just felt weird to me. It didn't sit right. So I called, I was like, yo, I want y'all to produce this whole thing. I'm gonna send y'all the acapellas. They came to the studio. We produced everything to the acapellas. And at first, it was still an EP for a while. Then after working on the production for a while, I was like, yo, let me make some new songs. Made some new songs, and I was like, fuck it. This shit is too good. I'm putting way too much into this to just brush it off as an EP. Yeah. This is my debut album. I'm comfortable with it. I always said that my first album has to be something crazy. It has to be something that blows everything I've ever done out of the water. There's live instrumentation on it. This is a hip hop album, but there's rock influence, there's punk rock influence, there's indie influence, there's jazz influence, there's gospel influence, R&B. It's everything. It's my magnum opus so far.
I was about to say, bro, you can't say that coming out the gate, but
yeah,
I get where you're going.
Yeah, like it's not like I'm gonna make something better, 100%. I have no doubt about it. But this is my best thing so far, and I truly believe that. I think it's insane. I'm in the recording and mixing process right now because I mix all my own stuff as well.
So you're creative, like you really.
Yeah, I go into it. Yeah, because I mean, I could go to any studio and they can, throw the EQ and compressor on, but like, no, I like to go in deep. I like to go with all the effects and all the ways I can emphasize these words with the mix, and I go ham with all that. You know what I'm saying? I really care about it. And yeah, it's called My Fault for Being Here. It's coming out really soon, this summer, and I'm excited to release it. It's all independent, and I just worked with my homies on it. You know what I'm saying? That was my biggest thing. I wanted my first thing to be me, not just involvement from a bunch of random people from other countries even. That's important. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I wanted it to be like, if I'm going to do this with other people, it's got to be my brothers. So I made it happen, and we did it, and we're on the home run to finishing it, and it's really good. I'm really proud of it.
And it's coming out this summer, right?
Yes, sir.
So be on the lookout for that. All right. That's all we have today. Make sure you check out this episode on YouTube. And you can catch this episode plus other episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you can listen to other podcasts at. Thanks for coming through.
Y'all heard them. Make sure y'all fucking subscribe. Put on the notifications button.
Please.
Comment on this shit. Please. Like it.
Please.
Share it on the story.
Not begging, but please.
All that. I'm begging. Prolific 860. See y'all. Peace.
We out.